How's it going, boys? Johnny Superb Man here, and it's time for another NHL 16 shootout commentary. And I can't wait any longer. I have to talk about it. My Toronto Maple Leafs in the upcoming season. It's the beginning of the Austin Matthews era in Toronto, boys. Success is on its way, and I can't freaking wait. The Leafs have done a complete rebuild over the last 2 years, and we've never looked better. In the Dave Nonis era, we signed guys like Dion Phaneuf, Phil Kessel, David Clarkson, all to long-term contracts. In the Brian Burke era, we traded away 2 first-round picks that probably, more than likely, would have been 2 top 2 picks, at least maybe even a first overall pick, if we didn't have a guy like Phil Kessel making us slightly better. We also refused to trade away guys like Mikhail Grabovski, Nikolai Kulemin, Clark MacArthur at a time when these guys had great trade value. We refused to trade players away for picks or prospects during both of these eras, and look what happened. Nothing but failure. However, over the last 2 years, the Leafs have been making the right calls. Just look at some of these moves. First thing we need to do was clear out all the bad contracts. Somehow, we unloaded that horrible David Clarkson deal. Thank you, Columbus. We got rid of Dion Phaneuf without retaining any salary cap. And we moved on from Phil Kessel, who was, to my dismay, moved out, but his talents were being wasted here. Moving to a contender, look what happened, right? And, it was also better to move him out and tank hard. If we had Phil Kessel this year, maybe we didn't get Austin Matthews, right? The pieces that we acquired from Phil Kessel also helped us snag a goaltender, Frederik Andersen, and a young winger, Kirby Reichel. So moving those guys out, helping us for the future, allowing us to tank, definitely helped us out. Second thing we needed to do was to get the right management for this rebuilding squad. Acquiring Mike Babcock, Brendan Shanahan, and Lou Lamoriello was a dream come true for us Leaf fans. So many years of bonehead decisions, trades, and free agency signings combined with coaches who were trying to get our players to play a certain way. It made for a helpless Leaf team. So having the management we have now sends a message to every Leaf player. We are no longer the laughingstock of the NHL, and we are trying to win. If you don't want to play here, then get the hell out of here. And the last thing we needed to do was to draft successfully. Morgan Rielly, Frederick Gauthier, William Nylander, Mitch Marner, and Austin Matthews have all been drafted by the Leafs since 2012. We also still have our first-round pick from 2009, Nazem Kadri, and we turned our first-round pick from 2008, Luke Schenn, into James Van Riemsdyk. That's 7 players that I mentioned the Leafs have for next year that have all come through drafting. It's much different from the days where we would build through free agency or through trading away our first-round picks. Signings like Mike Komisarek, Jason Blake, Tim Connolly, David Clarkson, and trades that shipped out guys like Tuukka Rask, Tyler Seguin, Dougie Hamilton absolutely ruined the Leafs for a certain time. So building through the draft is the only way to build a winner, and the Leafs are finally freaking on the right track. Now, the Leafs still have some bad contracts, but nothing longer than 2 years. Lupul still has 2 years left at $5 million per. Bozak, 2 years left at $4.2 million per. You might be able to move that. It's not that bad for Bozak. Brooks Lykes got 1 year left at $4.5 million. Milan Michalek, 1 year left at $4 million. Colin Greening, 1 year left at $2.6 million. And Stefan Robidas, 1 year left at $3 million. Also, we bought out guys like, we bought out Jared Callen, and we traded away Jonathan Bernier. And Nathan Horton's contract, or salary I should say, will not affect our cap as long as he stays on the IR and retires, which I'm pretty sure he will. So the Leafs will not run into any cap problems right now. Our rookies that will eventually get big boy contracts, they won't receive those contracts until these other guys are gone. And since a few of them only have 1 year left, perfect trade bait if they have a decent year. So maybe the Leafs just continue to draft high. And that's the question I want to put to you guys. What do the Leafs do next year? What's our goal? Do we play out the year expecting to miss the playoffs, trade who we can, and draft strong again? Do we use the cap space that we now have to try to sign, say, a defenseman like, Chris Russell? Do we try to pull off another trade like the Frederik Andersen deal, where we move a draft pick or a prospect, because we do have a plethora of both, for immediate help? I mean, I'd love to see a guy like Sami Vatanen, Matthew Dumba, Jacob Trouba, even a guy like Kevin Shattenkirk. I know that's wishful thinking, boys. I'm not saying that we could just go out and acquire those guys, but my point is the Leafs desperately need more top-line defensemen, especially a righty to play alongside of Morgan Rielly. I feel like our forward core is nice. Let the young guys guys play. Kadri, JVR, Bozak, Matthews, Marner, Nylander, you know. Let these guys play. Let them make their mistakes. Give them the time this year. But defensively, Morgan Riley, Jake Gardner. I know we got some prospects, but other than that, we need somebody like a Frederick Anderson we acquired for goaltender. You know, we need to go out there and acquire somebody who's NHL proven, who can come in, take a lot of the workload and help out. And we need that right-handed guy. So a guy like Vatanen, Dumba, Trouba, Shattenkirk, like I was saying, fits that role perfectly. Top-line right-handed defenseman. What do you guys think we need? Do the Leafs have a chance of making the playoffs this year? I've said this in the past. I think we'll have a solid start. Maybe, 20, 30 games in, we'll be in the top 6, top 5 in the Eastern Conference. But after 82 games played, I think we'll come back down to earth. I think we'll be a better team than we were last year, but bottom 10, maybe bottom 15. I'd say more of a bottom 10, somewhere 8 or 9, That makes sense for me. Bottom 8, bottom 9. So what do you guys think? What do the Leafs need to do next year? I really don't care what happens next year. I'm committed to this rebuild, and I cannot wait just to see these young kids play. So boys, let me know. I'll see you guys next year when I'll be chanting, "Go Leafs, go, baby." Be sure to check out our website, 2bcsports.com, where the hockey talk continues. Find myself and others in the live interactive chat, or dive into the active forums to talk about sports and gaming. You can also find us on Twitch, where the live streams come to life.